Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. If you're just joining us, our conversation this morning has been on the $124 million streetcar plan for downtown Milwaukee. I just spoke with 3rd District Alderman Nick Kovac, who is one of the 10 aldermen in favor of the streetcar, and we'll now get the perspective from 2nd District Alderman Joe Davis Sr., who is in opposition of the plan. Good morning, Alderman. And I do want to say quickly that you are the chair of the Community and Economic Development Committee and a member of the Public Safety, Public Works, and Steering and Rules Committee.
That's
Very
correct.
Important things for the viewers to know.
Sure.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for being here. And I'd like to start right off talking about why you are in opposition of this particular plan.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of explain the reason why it's important for people to debate this issue in a very respectful, but also in a very concise way that we keep the decorum, especially in the council. The reason why there's tremendous amount of opposition that's coming from the side in which I represent the 2nd District is that the original funding that came here from the federal government really was to actually create a transportation system from Milwaukee to Waukesha. As you know, the city of Milwaukee's had tremendous amount of problems bringing businesses here in the city in order for us to create jobs. And one of the things that you can actually take a look at is the city of Milwaukee's high poverty rate, high unemployment rate, high incarceration rate of African-American males, and we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and keep making the same mistakes. So, you know, a transportation system, manufacturing really takes a look at, you know, where are the transportation systems that's going to feed their employees, or potential employees, and also their business customers. That's the #2 reasons why manufacturers choose a location. We have a 30th Street industrial corridor, as I've been talking about before, that has a tremendous amount of land, that has an existing rail system that runs through the 30th Street industrial corridor, and those rail lines actually connect to the intermodal station. So the reason why I'm in opposition is because we should be investing that $55 million that we have from the federal government in the areas of greatest needs. That's the only way that we're going to grow Milwaukee's economy, is by putting people to work, but most importantly, we got to attract businesses here in the city of Milwaukee, because we've done a dismal record. We got a dismal record on attracting businesses here. And that's the reason why you're starting to see so many people unemployed. The key thing, the key indicator that I want to share with folks is we had 15 homicides in the month of January. That tells us that there is something systemically wrong here in the city of Milwaukee. If we don't correct the public safety problem, then we will not correct the economic problem that we have, because businesses won't locate here in the city of Milwaukee. I'm going to be true and blue to the game, and that is making sure that people understand that it's a heartfelt opposition that I have. It's not any venom in it, because those folks that are out there, especially the folks that I represent, they talk to me every day. I want to work, but when I go and apply for someplace, you know, I'm always getting rejected.
So with that said, you've argued, like you said, that this plan doesn't address the situation of poverty and unemployment, but we just had Alderman Nick Kovac here, sitting right where you are, and he says that he actually said you were lying to your constituents because you know that the streetcar will bring jobs, construction jobs to be specific. What do you say to that?
Well, I come from the construction trade, and the construction trade are normally short-term jobs. When a project is over with, then it all depends on what other particular development is in the pipeline. One thing that I can tell you is that given the high number of unemployed here in the city of Milwaukee, and given the type of construction that is coming into town, it is not going to cover the greatest needs of folks who are unemployed. What really will cover that unemployment is when you attract manufacturing businesses here in the city of Milwaukee, that when the construction of the building or the facility is over with, they leave behind 150 to 500 jobs where people then can go and apply with, and that's what we're seeing in Milwaukee County. We're seeing it in Washington County. We're seeing it in Waukesha County, and the city of Milwaukee needs to understand that we're the economic engine of the state, but we also should be attracting businesses that actually create jobs. Government can't continue to move on this issue on subsidizing labor and making sure that keeping people below the poverty line, because transitional jobs at $10 an hour, that's still below the poverty rate. So if if one is saying that I'm lying, and I'm, for me, I would temper that and just say that, all of us represents our constituent with heartfelt. And if that's Alderman Kovac's take on me, unfortunately, it sounds like a little baby whining because he's receiving so much opposition, because people are now starting to understand the whole methodology on how you create tax incremental districts.
I think I would be afraid to be in that chamber, because you guys, I'm sure, when you're debating these issues that each of you are so passionate about, especially in regards to your constituents,
Sure.
you really do lay it on the line and say exactly what you feel.
We have to.
You have to.
Sure.
And so there's the video that you produced for YouTube that pretty much laid out the idea that you had, that you just shared with us, in using the rail system that's already in existence. So talk about how that will benefit the city and the people living in it economically, whatever the case may be, versus the streetcar.
Well, it will cover a lot more mileage when it comes to actually putting the streetcar, or if you have either deciding on the streetcar or deciding on this alternative methodology. The other thing it will do is that the $55 million that is being proposed currently right now from the federal government, we wouldn't have to do TIDs or TIFs downtown, because the existing funding would actually use the current infrastructure in place. Do you know that up in Talgo or Century City, there's already a maintenance facility that's in that location, but yet and still in this particular TID or this TIF, it is proposed to build another maintenance facility for $7.5 million. I think that's just insane. And then with establishment of this TID or this TIF, we're also proposing to give $17.5 million to the developer of the couture. And the only reason why the issue of the TID has to be established is because the city of Milwaukee lost a court battle that was up at the state of Wisconsin that says that we needed to relocate the utilities because the utilities company, it wasn't the responsibility of the utility companies. I think it's wrong for us to actually have the taxpayers pay for that, but look for alternative methods and be fiscally responsible by using the federal money that we have in a very honest and open way. And I think that we can get that done without establishing the TID. One may disagree with me, but downtown is going to continue to grow. But one thing I can tell you is that the areas and neighborhoods in which I represent, we're experiencing a tremendous amount of decline from the foreclosure crisis and because of the economic indicators that are impacting the areas.
So, and that's what most people are concerned with. Like, how much is it going to cost the taxpayer who's not going to utilize it downtown?
Sure.
So even though there is talk about it having the potential to grow, I guess the big question is, how much will it cost taxpayers down the line when it comes to operating costs and the maintenance of the streetcar? We all understand it's a grant to kind of get it kick-started,
Sure.
but is there ever going to be a cost to the taxpayer in operating the streetcar?
Well, let me share this with you, and this is, I've made this concern very public. The city of Milwaukee has no experience in operating a transportation system, but yet and still we're proposing to actually build a transportation system. All we have to do is take a look at fiscally what has happened with the City Hall Restoration Program or City Hall Restoration Project, and that has exceeded its budget. And now we're getting ready to talk about pilings as far as the infrastructure is concerned, as far as the foundation. You know, we don't have a good record on keeping and coming in under budget. And so when we talk about the streetcar, one thing I will tell you is that the fares that is proposed with the streetcar will not cover its operating budget. And the comptroller has always said that any particular public transportation system, especially something like a rail system or a streetcar, is always going to have public subsidy. Now, you have the comptroller saying that, you have the city of Milwaukee's experience in that there's no need for me to get into a tit for tat on if in fact the taxpayer is going to pay for it. The only thing I can tell the taxpayer is that, you know, just cover your wallet and watch your wallet.
Wow. So coming up, of course, we've established that the final vote is coming up February 10th, and it has also been established that there are not enough signatures. You were going out for 31,000 or 35,000 signatures to create a petition to force a referendum. So now that there are not enough signatures, what's next?
Well, you know, the only thing that I can say from my office on behalf of the people that I represent is this. You know, the only reason why we had to go to the signature methodology is because when it came to the council, had it went through the proper channels of the City of Milwaukee bonding for this particular project and funding the TID, in the state legislation or in the state statute, it always gave the public an option to go to a referendum. Unfortunately, Mayor Barrett's administration figured that or decided that they were going to take that out of the mix and actually put it over to the redevelopment authority, so the public did not have a say-so. I think this process really woke up the public and says, you know what? It's not right for us for the city to spend our money without us actually having to say so. I think we've woke up the City of Milwaukee to continue to pay for, to continue to pay attention to municipal government. And I think that's the reason why we're all in office. We're not in office to make decisions in a void or in a vacuum. We're here to make decisions on behalf of the people. And we got to listen to the people, whether they're for or whether they're against. And a lot of people that I represent are against this. And my voice has to be heard because my voice is their voice.
I hear you. And you really have opened up both sides, because I think I was one of those people who thought, well, what's the big deal? I mean, when you talk about going to Bucks games and different venues downtown for entertainment, the festivals, seems like the streetcar would make sense, but there's always the bottom line. So I appreciate you giving us your perspective, and it's no secret that you are going to be running for Milwaukee mayor come 2016. We've run out of time, so that means you have to come back to talk about your goals for the city if elected.
Absolutely. And
we'll see you then, okay? Right. Thank you again for coming by.
Thanks, Andrea, for having me. I appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure. Alderman Joe Davis Sr. is the alderman of Milwaukee's 2nd District, and to keep up with what's going on with the city's 15 aldermen, you can always log on to milwaukee.gov or call 414-286-2221. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.